Hi everyone, Dave here, Fit and Healthy Forever. This is just a continuation of the leg training video. We're moving on now to calves. Just a little bit of anatomy on calves. We have two calf muscles. We have the gastrocnemius, or as we call the gastroc, and the soleus. Now the gastroc is the larger calf muscle. It forms the big bulge at the back, what you see, and it's actually two heads. It's in two parts. And if you tense it or squeeze it, it forms a sort of diamond shape. And that in bodybuilding, diamond calves is a big thing, you know, if you've got good diamond calves. The soleus is a smaller flat muscle, and it lies underneath the gastroc. So you don't actually see it, but if you work it, it will push the gastroc muscles out more, so it looks bigger. So if you're working both, then you're getting the best of both worlds. Most people I see only tend to work the gastroc because you normally do that standing, which I'll show you shortly. The gastroc and the soleus muscles, they taper and merge at the base of the calf muscle. Tough connective tissue from there at the bottom of the calf merges with the Achilles tendon, and the Achilles tendon inserts into the heel bone. Now, when you're walking, running or jumping, the calf muscle pulls the heel up to allow forward movement. So it's going up like so to allow forward movement, and that's when you're actually squeezing the calf muscle. Now, I'll go into this in more detail in a second. I'm going to show you 3 exercises that I would normally do. I do 2 of the 3, but I always do one for the soleus. So just bear with me a second while I just set up, and then we'll go through the 3. So this is the one exercise I always use to work the soleus, which is the flat disc-like part of the calf that's underneath the gastroc. So you always need to try and do it seated. There is a seated machine you can get access to in some gyms, but your legs basically have to be at a 90-degree angle or thereabout. So what you're doing, I've had to adapt a Smith machine here. So I've got a step box, so I can raise my feet up. I sit on a bench and I put the bar here with the weights on each side. So for now, I've just put 20 kilo on. So you rest that on your knees, which are directly above, I have them directly above my toes. Now what you're doing, if you imagine standing or seated, you're going up onto your tiptoes. Now if you do that, if you go up like so onto your tiptoes, you'll feel the tensing, the squeezing of your calf muscle, and then you'll lower down again. The stretch part is going below level. So if you imagine the floor is level, you need to get your heels lower, hence why we do it on a box or some sort of, you could do it on the stairs at home even. So what you do is from the stretch position till you feel a nice stretch in the calf, you then raise it as high as you can go on your tiptoes till you feel a squeeze, and then you'll lower it down under control. As always, stretch, squeeze, under control. So we're raising as high as we can go on tiptoes and lowering down till we get just below parallel for the stretch. Now, I find with calf muscles, because on a general day-to-day basis you're walking a lot, your calves get what I call a lot of stamina work. So my belief is that when I hit calves once a week and a weight training protocol, I will always do lower reps with quite heavy weights, because that's not what your calves are used to, in my belief, because they're used to just carrying your body around all day, walking, running, whatever it is you do. But they don't very rarely get heavy weights for sort of 8 to 12 reps, 15 max for me, and then I'm always increasing the weight. And you can get, you'll be surprised how strong your calves are. You can get quite a bit of weight. But I'll show you 2 more exercises next that are standing ones that work the gastroc. This is the best one I know of to work your soleus. As I say, you'll have a machine, some gyms have a machine specifically for doing it, a seated calf raise, and it's basically the same situation I'm in now. but it's a seated pad, and you'll have two weight pads there. You put your weights on the front, you'll release the handle, and you'll just do as I've done here, is just squeeze and then stretch, squeeze, stretch. As I say, 10 to 12 reps, 8 to 12 reps, sorry, 15 max if you want to go to 15. But I would try to get heavy weights, lower reps, and see how that works. Because as I say, my logical belief is that when you're walking all day, you're getting stamina work with your calves anyway. So try it with heavy weights and lower reps, even as low as 8, and see if that helps your calves to grow. It's all part of the whole body development, so I think a lot of people neglect calves, or they do a token gesture. Don't get into the habit of bouncing them. It's the same as any other muscle. Stretch, squeeze, pause at the top for a split second, pause at the bottom on the stretch, split second, control up, control down. I don't understand why people are bouncing like this with them all the time. It doesn't do anything. It's more likely to strain them than it is to work them. So I'm going to move on to the standing ones next. I'll show you 2 of those, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Okay, so now we come to the first of the standing calf raises, which is working the gastroc. Now this is, as I've said in previous videos, you're better off working both sides at once and singly with legs and arms, so unilateral, bilateral. So this is working one leg at a time, because it's easy for your dominant one to take over when you're doing 2 together, or 2 arms together, or 2 shoulders together, whatever. So you need to do them one at a time and both together to get the best development overall. So what I've done, I've got a small dumbbell, it's just 5 kilo. What we're going to do is you stand same position as when you're seated. You just got the ball of your foot on the platform. I always have something to hold on to for balance. Tuck your other leg behind your heel, and from there you just squeeze, stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze, stretch. Now you don't have to use a dumbbell. You can start by just doing body weight. If you're doing the other side, for instance, just body weight, like so, and progress. I mean, if you're doing them in the house, for instance, you could do them on the stairs and use tins of beans, bottles of water, anything you can hold on to, really. So I'm going to go through a video of some of the leg exercises you can do at home, but this is just to show you can do this in a gym. Some gyms have a standing calf machine, which has got shoulder pads on the top, and you're standing on a platform similar to this, and you're just doing one or both at a time, stretching up, squeezing up, stretching down, squeezing up, stretching down. That's all the movement is. But as I say, try it with heavy weights and lower reps, because I just believe that you're getting a lot of stamina work when you're walking on a day-to-day basis, as I said earlier. So I think try that first and see how that works for you. Now I'm going to show you a machine one that I've got that is very similar to the machine ones you'll find in a gym. Okay? Okay, so this is the standing calf raise. You might have seen this earlier on the leg training video for quads, and what this doubles up as is a standing calf raise. Now at the bottom there you've got a foot bar, and you stand with your shoulders under the pads, which I'll show you in a second, and your weight plates go there. So you can, when you're doing standing calf raises, as I said earlier, you can get quite a bit of weight on, but it's still the same as the exercise I showed you earlier where you stretch and squeeze. So what you've got is, if we go underneath this, like so, get yourself comfortable on the pads, get your feet, just the ball of your feet on the foot bar, raise, and you've got something to hold on to if you need to. And from there, as I said before, you're going below parallel to get the stretch, and you're coming right up on your tiptoes for the squeeze. So it's stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze. holding it at the top and the bottom for about a second and controlling the weight up and down. As I said earlier, you'll see people sort of bouncing it like so, which you really don't need to do. You don't get any benefit from it. So all you need to do is get a good stretch that you feel in your calf and then go up and squeeze. And that is working the gastroc, as I said earlier. I've shown you the one where you're doing individual legs with a dumbbell. This does both together. It's the same exercise, but if you have a dominant side, when you're doing the two together, your dominant side's always going to take over, as I said before. So you're better off combining both, even if you did them alternate weeks. Do single leg one week and both legs together another. So that concludes the video for calves. And what I'm going to do a bit later is I'll do a video on some of the stuff that you can, some of this stuff that you could do at home if you can't get access to a gym or you feel intimidated going to a gym. So that rounds up the leg training. Thanks everyone for listening, and I'll speak to you in the next video.